Hey guys, it's Rebecca Elijah, the True Family, so you can call me Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is staying safe, staying healthy, taking the necessary precautions, doing their declarations and praying and etc. Well, the other day I posted a story and just asking anyone to ask me questions, and I didn't realize how many questions I actually had. There was about 30 that I wasn't able to get to and respond to, so I was like, why not make this into a YouTube video and just answer everything on there. So that's what we're gonna do today. Okay, today is like hashtag Ask Becky. So let's get to these questions. I'm gonna be reading the ones you guys sent me that are already archived. I'm gonna read them off my phone. Let's get to it. I'm excited. So the first question was, I love you, you're so positive. How do you keep negative emotions away? I'm so irritated with myself for being weak, LMAO. I love you too, and you're not weak. You're not weak at all. The way that I stay positive is actually by dealing with my emotions. So the positive side that you see of me like all the time is because I've been able to have those not so positive moments and address them head on. But if you're running away from your feelings, you're running away from your emotions, there will never be full positivity. You can't neglect what you are feeling. You have to address it and face it so there can be progress. There is no joy and lightness unless you remove everything that is weighing you down. The only way you can do that is by addressing it face on and full force. So don't run away from them. Feelings and emotions are a sign of growth. It's trying to direct you to something that will bring growth out of you, to pull you into a higher height. So face it and address it, and know that you're not weak as you're going through those emotions. And make sure as you are addressing them, you ask yourself, okay, what is it within this emotion that I'm feeling that can make me be more productive? What am I? Never just feel things and simmer and sit in it. There's no resolution in that. You have to make sure, okay, if you're feeling sad, why am I feeling sad? Where did this come from? Where did this stem from? Make sure you're always looking to see where it's directing you to, so you can heal yourself, so you can heal your body, soul, and spirit. Your skin is flawless. Thank you. What do you do? Look, I just thank the Lord Jesus. My parents have amazing genes. I am blessed and highly favored because of it. But besides that, I literally just drink a lot of water, like at least a gallon a day. And I use sunscreen. Protect your face, your skin from the UV rays. I'm always using sunscreen. Also, remove unnecessary stress. Literally, stress can make you break out so much. I just try to keep myself in a calm state where I'm not stressed, so my skin can just be like, and it works. What are you looking for in a guy? Asking for a friend. Okay, so, man, where do I start? I'm gonna have to condense this under 2 minutes. First thing, number one, is faith. Oh my God. I am so big on, God is a big, big part of, a humongous part of my life. So I cannot imagine myself getting into a relationship with anyone who is not big on faith, or who's not on that level of trying to get to know God more. So faith is definitely a big one for me. And number two, I would say security. Not security in the traditional sense where it's like, oh, money, this and that. No, more about like security within our relationship. Can I trust you? Are you going to be accountable? Are we going to be good friends? Like, I need to feel safe, like a home away from home. So that comes with them being secure in who they are themselves, them knowing who they are. Man, this is hard to answer in just a couple of minutes. Number three, I would say someone who's funny. Like, man, I am the biggest goofball ever, so I need someone who likes to goof around with me. Like, if I start breaking out into random dance sessions, I need you to start crumping with me. or at least cheer me on. Or like, okay, my family doesn't even cheer me on. They just stare at me. But still, I need someone who's okay with my weirdness, who's goofy too. So I feel like those are my top 3, to be honest. It says, I feel like I'm struggling when it comes to doing things to make God love me. No. You don't have to do things to reinforce God's love. God's love comes without any conditions. It's not by anything that you do. You're not the one that He chose us before we chose Him, if that makes sense. It was all Him. He loves us just because He is love. That's just who He is. So if you're feeling like you have to constantly upkeep to make sure that He loves you, that's not it. I want you to breathe and let go of that false ideal. That's not it at all. You don't have to strive for His love. His love isn't earned. His love just is. Because He is love. God just loves us. Think about it this way. God is the only person that knows all of you, everything that you keep from your friends, from your family, every thought that you have, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and He still loves you despite it all. So it's never a matter of what can I do to make Him still love me, or what can I do to make Him love me more? Because if you're thinking like that, that's going to give you anxiety and stress. That's not God. He just loves you because you're you. That's all you have to do. Just be you. Be the best version of yourself for you. But know that even if you're struggling to be the best version of you, He just loves you because you're here, because you're born, because of who you are. There's nothing that you have to do or have to force yourself to do to make Him love you. It's just His nature. It's who He is. He just loves. I had to pause and get my phone charger because my phone was dying. So if you see this bulky thing in the back, that's why. But adding on to that, another thing is the second part of the question was saying, what can I do to make sure He doesn't leave me? God will never leave you. The thing is, we're not the ones who found God. He's the one who came to us. He found us. He's the one who sought us out. If He's the one doing the seeking, that means He always chases after us. It's not, go to God too, like obviously, but just know that if it feels like you're lost, He will always find you. He will never leave you. He doesn't abandon us. I feel like I'm struggling to balance my new endeavors. Okay. So with this, when you're bringing new activities into your life and you're trying to do it all at the same time, it's not going to be pretty. You are going to struggle. What you need to do is do one thing at a time. It's okay to start at a slow pace and to find your rhythm. You have to find a rhythm. So you can start with one thing and then continuously do that thing until you have that thing at a place where you're like, okay, I've got this. Like I found the beat. That's when you can add something in. And then now you're trying to balance that too. Once you balance that too, then you can add in a third thing. Now then you can try and work on balancing that. But if you're trying to do everything at the exact same time, it's going to cause a lot of frustration because there's no way you can master multiple things at the exact same time. So my advice to you for that is to just start small. Start with one thing. Get used to that. Then you can add in more. What do you do now? I mean, like, besides like outside of quarantine life, I'm a youth counselor. I'm a teacher too. And I am studying right now to get another degree. I don't know if I want to say that yet. I'm in the works of school still, and I like to sing, so I'm writing. I haven't written music in a long time, so we're just gonna see how that goes. And yeah, I pray a lot, but I feel like you guys already know that. That's what I'm doing now. I'm not really doing anything too wild or too crazy momentarily. Next question, advice for dating. This is my 4th relationship within a year and it's soured. Okay, what you need to do is spend some time with yourself. You need to be alone for a second. You need to rediscover who you are and what it is that you are looking for in a person. Don't be so quick to jump into another relationship. Make sure you take some time to figure out, to see what didn't work in the last relationship, see what went wrong on your end, what went wrong on their end, and actually take notes. Actually sit down and say, okay, this is what I can do differently next time, and this is what I am looking for. But you can't do that if you're constantly just trying to jump straight into the next relationship, because then you're going to take those habits into the new relationship. Sit down, take some time to love on you and get to know you. It's okay to be single. It is okay to be by yourself. It should not be taboo. It is actually necessary. And it seems to me like you're longing for something that you're not going to find within that relationship until you find it within yourself. So you need to sit still and love yourself and be sure that you can feel like your own home before you run into the arms of someone else. Don't do that to yourself. You need to be your own safe haven. I would say if you can, use the next 3 to 4 months at least to spend that time with yourself and do a self-evaluation and figure out your hopes, your wants, and your desires outside of a relationship, so that when you get into a relationship, you see how things are aligned. Because if you don't truly know yourself, it's going to be hard for you to find what you're looking for in a relationship or to get the best out of a relationship. Make sure you're going into it stable. So the only way that you can get stable is if you stop moving. Stay still for a second. It's okay. Stay still. If I can't feel God, does that mean he left me? No, God will never leave you. He has never left you. He's always been with you. And I know that's really difficult because sometimes we're used to a traditional sense of how we feel God. It could be that he communicates, or we feel him when we're listening to music, or we feel him. We're just so used to hearing him through a certain stream. But now when it changes, or you can't hear him in that stream, you're like, okay, God, you there? Hello? It could be that God is trying to grow you spiritually. There's many ways to hear God, and he wants to make sure that you are well versed and skilled and cultivated in all aspects that he can communicate to you. More specifically for you in this season, God is going to be using instructors and people to communicate to you. So don't shut down your counsel. Don't be quick to think that, okay, no, I'm so used to it being this way that it can only be this way. It could be that he's trying to show you another way. It could be that he's trying to speak to you another way. Sometimes when we're so used to seeing him, when we don't see him and your eyes are shut, when he shuts your eyes, it's so he can train your ears to hear him. You know, I hope that makes sense. So it looks like in this season, he could be training your ears to hear him when it feels like you're walking into situations blindly, or when it feels like you cannot see where you're going, or you're like, okay, which direction should I step? I see chaos here. I see this here. Where am I going? How do I get there? I've always seen the answer, but now it's time for you to just trust God. Even if you have a blindfold on, he wants you to be able to trust and know that he'll say, go left, go right, turn here. Your eyes are not the only way to communicate with him. You can hear him. You can feel him. He can speak to you. You have to be trained and versed in all of these ways. So I feel like that's what God is doing to you in this season. He's trying to cultivate the different ways that you communicate with him. What is your favorite things to cook? That's hard. I feel like I'm always like doing stuff in the kitchen. I would say my spaghetti is lit. If y'all haven't tried my spaghetti, if you haven't been blessed with it, I'm so sorry. I'm being annoying. Spaghetti for sure. Rice and stew. I've been eating so much plantain lately. I don't know why. I've just been craving it. So I'd say plantain and anything breakfast. I love breakfast. Chicken. I'm just always cooking. This is a hard question to answer because I just be in the kitchen. Like sometimes I'm like, let's see what I can create today. So I don't really have a favorite thing to cook. I just like to cook. I feel like in every relationship or friendship I get into, I'm not valued. Like hanging out with me or dating me is an option people go to when they're bored. What I would say to this is to choose you. Choose yourself first. Do not tolerate that behavior from other people. Because when you choose yourself, you set up a boundary. You set up an expectation. That's the word. You set up an expectation for how people can approach you and treat you. So the next time people say, oh, I'm bored, do you want to hang out? But you've been hitting them up forever and they didn't respond to you then. Don't hang out with them when they're bored. Let them know, like, it feels like you're always trying to hang out with me only when you're bored or only when it is pleasing to you or only when it's convenient to you. You're not just a person of convenience. You are a person of status. You are a person who makes a difference and has an impact, and your time is important. The next thing I'm going to tell you is that when you know that you're chosen by God, when you know that you are God's choice, you will never be an option and you will never allow anyone to treat you as an option. Don't let people treat you like an option when you know that you are God's choice, when God tells you that you're his choice. So walk with that type of confidence and know that people have to respect you because you are a respectable person, that people have to treat you correctly because you are treated correctly by the one that matters the most. That's exactly what it is, so choose you and know that you're chosen. That's what it really boils down to. And when you do that and when you walk with that and move in that behavior, people have no choice but to do the same thing. They have to adjust to what standard that you set for yourself. So set that high standard for them. So you prayed for me and my husband after 2 years of trying to get pregnant and said that you opened my womb and that the next test I would take would make the rest feel like they were negatives. I actually found out that I am pregnant, and this was 2 days after you prayed for me. How do you do that, and what can I say to make that work for me next time? Okay, so first of all, congratulations. That's amazing. It was definitely not me. It was all God. Let me tell you that right now. And it's not so much of how do I do that. It's about the knowing. That's what it is. It really is about a knowing, because when you get into it, it's about knowing, and it's also about your relationship with God. So when you have a relationship with God, you dive deeper into loving him and knowing him. It comes with this unquenchable, unshakable faith and unquenchable, unshakable knowing about what he can do. So it's like, you know that he loves you, you know that he moves, you know that he created the universe, and you know that he has power. And because you have that knowing, there's some things that you say when you speak, it just happens. So the way that you can do that is by just going into a deeper level of intimacy with God, just knowing him and trusting him, because the more you know him, the more you discover who he is, the more knowledge that you have, and the more knowledge that you have, the more you know what you can say and know that what you say actually will manifest in the world. I hope that answered your question. What musicians are in your orbit right now? Man, this is so hard. I feel like I'm just listening to everyone. I love music, so it's hard for me to just choose. Okay, let's see. So I can tell you genres. Right now I listen to a lot of reggae, a lot of like Niger beats, Afro beats. Been listening to a lot of that. Been listening to a lot of worship music. Chandler Moore, David and Nicole Binion. They've been doing it down for me. Who else am I really listening to right now? Oh my God, I've been listening to a lot of old R&B music, R&B music has my heart. So I feel like I've been going back to the songs that kind of have like nostalgia to me. So yeah, I don't think I can pinpoint musicians because there's way too many. We'll be here for hours, literally hours. I always hear you pray about people having experiences with God. What was your experience and what made you believe in him? Oh, that's a good question. Can I just say that my whole life is an experience? My relationship with God is really different, okay? It's different. It's very unique. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll give you I'm trying to think of examples. I'll give you a couple experiences because my whole life, I'm just gonna say my whole life, since I was born, pretty much has been an experience with God. I've just kind of always known, I've always had this knowing that he's, also because of my parents, because of my dad and my mom and them cultivating and instilling that in us at a young age. I've just always known about God. But in terms of experiences that I've had, one that sticks out a lot to me is in 7th grade. I remember I was supposed to be coming home from cheer, and the lady that was supposed to pick me up from cheer, she was not answering. This was the only time in Vegas where it snowed. So it was snowing and your girl was in some booty shorts from cheer and just cold, shivering, waiting outside for someone to come get me. And 2 hours came by and she did not answer. So I was like, okay, your girl's gonna have to walk home. So I started walking home and I could sense that something was off. So I looked behind me and I noticed a car and it looked like the car was following me. So I started praying and I was like, in the name of Jesus, I cover myself. And so I kept walking. And then as I started speeding up, the car was speeding up too. And so as the car sped up, I started running. And so the car literally comes and slams right in front of me, literally turns its whole entire car. So now it's blocking the sidewalk so I can't walk, and literally pulls out a gun and is putting it in front of me like this. And I just remember yelling, Jesus, at the top of my lungs. And as soon as I did that, literally, I kid you not, he tried pulling the trigger and then it didn't work. He pulled it and would look at it. He did it 3 times, didn't work, tossed it in the back of his car and he took off. I feel like that's an experience that definitely has always stuck out to me amongst many experiences. Maybe one that's less scary. One time I was standing in front of a vending machine with my friends, 3 of my friends, and I was so hungry. Your girl didn't have any. I forgot to ask my parents for lunch money. I think I was in the 5th grade, or was this 8th grade? Can't remember. I was a baby. But I remember just standing by the vending machine and I'm like, man, I'm so hungry. As soon as I said that, I promise you, no crosses count. No pinky, I'm not crossing anything. No crosses count. When I say 3 of my favorite items came out of the vending machine, right there. And my friends were just looking at me I'm like, oh, but I already knew what it was. His name is G.O.D. and he got me. It's just different experiences that that are specific to you, specific to who you are as a person. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be extravagant, like being held at gunpoint. It can be something that's small and intricate, but something that has a meaning to you. I just pray that everyone has an experience that is meaningful to you with God. Because when it's meaningful to you, that's when you realize, oh, he sees me. Like, oh, you see me. Like, it could be the small things, the big things, no matter what it is, he's got you. So that's what I mean by experiences. And I don't know, those are just two, I guess I would say, testimonies, because the whole life is kind of an experience. So I'll just say that. Okay, so someone said, I'm probably gonna have to do a part 2. I'm probably gonna do 2 more of this, and then we might do a part 2. Someone said, my kids be so bad at school and don't listen to me when they home. 6 and 7, tried everything, whippings, groundings, and still be acting up. I would say for this in particularly, your kids, they're trying to get your attention. So whoopings and groundings, they're not gonna listen to that, and they're not going to abide by your rules. They're gonna keep acting up because they're trying to get a connection with you. There's a disconnect. So what you need to do is, instead of reprimanding them, sit down and talk to them. Communicate with them, because it doesn't matter. You can correct your child in whatever way you like, however you want, but if they don't feel like they're loved, they're not going to listen to correction. So what you need to do is sit down and ask them, have a conversation. Don't yell at them. Don't scream. Don't assign blame. Don't say you're always so bad. Don't do any of that. Just sit down and be like, what's going on? How are you? I just want you guys to know that I love you. I'm here. Leave an open lines of communication for them to express themselves in a place where they feel like they're safe and that there will be no judgment. Because kids working in school, I've seen that there's so many kids are going through a lot. There's so many kids. They're not just, kids are intelligent. They're highly intelligent. So don't think that whatever you're doing or whatever you're experiencing, they're not feeling too. They are. So you need to just sit down and open lines of communication and see, because it could be something that happened at home is actually really affecting them. So approach them with love. Don't come out of a place of because I said so. Open it in a place where it's like, I'm hearing you, you're heard. So go from that aspect and you'll see that things are really going to turn around, and they will have and you guys will have a new understanding and a better line of communication and understanding, and they will have a deeper respect for you, especially the 6-year-old that you need to talk to. Boyfriend wants me to take care of him and take him out. I feel like that's hecka weird. That's his job. Who tripping here? So with this particular question, is he doing that for you? If he is taking you out, if he's buying you stuff, then you should be reciprocating that too. Relationships are not one-sided. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm doing this, so you got to do this. Your job is this. It's a give and take. It's a sacrifice. It's two people in one relationship. If one person is doing most of the work, then it's not fair. And why not? Like, if you're in a relationship, if you truly love each other, if you truly want to see that person grow, if you truly want to see that person be their best and you want them to know that they are loved, why not express that? If he's taking you on movie dates, if he's taking you out saying, oh, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to make it a full day for you, I'm going to take you to your favorite restaurant, you better have a day for him. Make a day for him. Take him out, pamper him. Baby, want to go get your hair lined up? Bet let's do that. What do you want to eat today? Oh, okay, I'm gonna make this for you. Or we're gonna go out and I'll give you this. Why not do that for them? It shouldn't be one-sided. And don't let your fear of what you've seen in past relationships, where if it felt like you gave more in the past relationship, so now you're holding back, that's something that you guys need to talk about in one accord. Have open lines of communication, but never hold that person responsible for what you experienced in your past. And if you didn't experience in the past, just be fair. Be nice. You're in a relationship. It's not just about you. What's the first song that's coming to mind? I feel like I've been locked up tight for centuries and lonely nights, waiting for someone to release me. So that's how I have for today. I hope that answered you guys' questions. I love you guys and I really appreciate you. I pray that you're staying safe and healthy, and yeah, I might do this again soon. We'll see how it goes. I pray that you have a blessed day, and make sure you know that you're awesome. Bye guys, love you.